Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Deloya, and today we're going to talk about circumference and area of circles. You already know that area is the space inside a figure, and circumference we're going to find is the distance that is around the circle here. How far is it around the circle? And when I think of circles, I think of one of my favorite things, pi. I love pumpkin pie, apple pie, coconut cream pie. Oh yes, and of course, this pie. You see, this pie is a Greek symbol that represents a number 3.14. And when we deal with circles, we definitely need pi. Okay, so let's see if we can find the circumference of this circle. To find the circumference, or the distance around a circle, you use the formula circumference, which is represented by C, equals pi times the diameter. And I love formulas because all you have to do is substitute and solve. So again, I'm looking for circumference, and it's going to, where I have the symbol of pi, I'm going to put the number in 3.14, and I'm going to put some parentheses around this here. And instead of using a multiplication symbol, I'm just going to put two sets of parentheses right up next to each other, which will mean to multiply. D is my diameter, and as you can see in my circle, I have a diameter of 8 feet. So now all I have to do is solve 3.14 times 8, and I have a circumference that, after I go through all my calculating, is 25 and 12 hundredths, and the unit is feet. So there you have it. All you have to do is take pi times the diameter, and you'll find the circumference of a circle. Okay, so now let's find the area of this circle. And once again, we need a formula. So the formula for the area of a circle, and since we're talking circles, you know what we're going to need, what all circles make me think of, pi. The area of a circle is pi times the radius of the circle, but we have to do something very special to that radius. Before we multiply it times pi, we have to square that radius. Remember that exponent 2 means you take that number times itself. So here's my formula, and now I'm going to substitute and solve. So once again, area equals pi, which is 3.14. Now take a look at my circle. Remember, the radius is half the diameter, and the diameter of this circle is 8, so half of 8 is 4, and I have to square that. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because we have to put in order of operations. Remember, exponents comes first. So I'm going to solve the exponent part first. So I'm just going to bring down my numeric representation of pi, 3.14, square 4. That means 4 times 4 is 16. Now I can multiply 3.14 times 16, and when I do that, I'm going to end up with 50 and 24 hundredths. Remember, all area is in square units, so it's square feet. So again, if I want to find the area of a circle, I take pi times the radius of that circle, but before I multiply, I have to square the radius. Okay, now it's your turn. let's see if you can find the circumference of this circle, which is the distance around the circle, and if you can find the area of the circle, which is the space inside it. Okay, here's your formulas. Remember, circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. And remember that number for pi is 3.14. And to find the area of a circle, you need to remember that area is equal to, once again, pi times that radius. But remember, you have to square the radius. Okay, good luck, and I'll check back with you in just a few moments. Hit the pause button to work out the problem, and then when you're ready, hit play, and we'll see how you did. Okay, how'd you do? Well, let's take a look at it together. Circumference, pi times the diameter. I've got my symbol of pi, I've got d for diameter, and now I'm going to substitute and solve. So, circumference equals the number for pi that we're using is 3.14, and diameter here is 10 centimeters. And when I go ahead and multiply 3.14 times 10, my circumference ends up being 31.4, or 31 4/10 centimeters. And again, that's the distance around the circle. Okay, now let's look at the formula for area. Area equals pi times the radius squared. You've got your formula, just substitute and solve. Area equals the value for pi that we're using is 3.14. My radius, remember radius is half the diameter. So what's half 10? That would be 5. And we are to square that radius. So order of operation says exponents before multiplication. So area equals, I'm going to bring down my 3.14, and when I square 5, remember that means 5 times itself, 5 times 5 is 25. Now I have one more thing to do, and that's multiply 3.14 times 25, and my answer is 78.5, or 78 and a half. All area is square units, so it's centimeters squared. Well, how'd you do? I hope everything worked out. Remember, follow the formulas, substitute, solve. Remember, when it comes to circumference of a circle or area of a circle, you need pi. I'll see you back in class.